I'm in prison, therefore I lost my freedom. I've still got about 9 years left on my sentence. That's a little bit more than halfway to go. I am losing my mind because now I'm losing my friends inside the wall and I'm losing family members outside of it. I lost my father and my grandmother. Both times I was unable to say goodbye and unable to go to their funerals as well. There's still to this day not the type of closure that I needed. In prison, it's simple: survive or don't. Find a way to make it through or don't. I did not know if I had what it took to make it through at this point. I knew I had to stay out of trouble if I wanted to get home on time. I had already pushed my time back a little bit because of the fights that I had gotten into, and I was trying to get it back down. But when you're in prison, you're suffering from depression. Some days you don't want to get out the bed, and then you watch several of your friends lose their life to violent acts, including two that were about to go home. Not only does it increase the despair that's already in you, because you're losing somebody or you've lost multiple people that are close to you when they weren't supposed to go, but you're also taking on this mindset that it's not over till it's over. There is no hope. There's no need to have hope in a moment because I could be to my last day or my last weekend and I could be out of here because somebody's on one. Prison is a place where I liken it to a minefield. Some people wake up and they're violent towards somebody they don't even know in the pod just so they can go to the hole or just because they feel like it or just because they're on one. Let's not forget mental health. At the time this was all occurring, I lost not just Anthony, but Rambo, others. And I remember going to the mental health or the QMHP, the professional, and saying, I need help. Her answer was always the same: Seroquel or Thorazine. I said, I can't do that. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't take medication and be a walking zombie in an environment like this. I knew that everybody in this environment was not for me. On top of, you never know what could happen day to day. A riot could pop off. I can't afford to be heavily sedated in this environment. It does not work. I cannot. She said, well, I can put you in some support groups. The support groups are a joke. What I'm saying is mental health is a joke overall. It was a difficult run. I remember being on the phone with my girl and she was just saying it's going to be okay. And me being angry because she was telling me it was going to be okay because that's what everybody was saying, but nobody could offer me any advice, help, insight as to how it actually would. I could not get outside of my thoughts and I couldn't walk to a park and take a hike and be private to reset. I couldn't walk and go to my home and take a nap. I had to try to overcome these things inside of prison. So I had to escape the negative thoughts that were in my mind as I'm losing people, trying to make it home, hoping that I can navigate through this. And then I had to find a way to make it home outside of an additional prison. It was two prisons in one. It was hell. Thankfully, though, and I'm grateful for my brothers. Your brothers in prison, they become your support system, your family. You eat together, you break bread together, you hustle together, you work out together. You have to have a support system 9 times out of 10 in prison. I'm not saying that people don't stand alone, but it just is what it is. You meet brothers in there, they like the Bears too. And next time you're having a conversation it's so forth and so on. And I had a brother in my life by the name of Keith, man. I was so grateful for him. Tattoo artist, according to his words, pretty boy. I had to mention that. He always say, when you introduce me, you worked out, got money, always had a female companion. He had did over half his sentence. He was on the downward, as they call it, in the single digits. And he was somebody, man, we had known each other from previous camps, from Sussex too. We're on Greensville now. But he was somebody that, saying, we just started building, just talking. He did some of my ink that's on me. And, we'd often talk about family, freedom, etc. And he was also somebody that I could have an intellectual conversation with and talk about sometimes some of the things that aren't always discussed in prison. We would talk about history and science and different things because we both like going to the library and reading and, just learning why we had the time. That was always our thing. Well, we gonna learn why we had the time because we both knew when we came home, oh, we was gonna get to running. So, I never forget. Like the last time I seen him, we was chilling, man. We were playing cards. We had a little bit of a gambling addiction, a little bit of poker addiction, right? And we in there playing cards, and the officers had walked up and they told him, they like, man, you got to come with me. And usually when that happens out of nowhere, either something bad happened or you're being put under investigation, locked up, something. And sure enough, he was being put under investigation. The officers brought him straight to the hole. And luckily so, because he would have caught a street charge. He had his cell phone on him. So he was able to get his cell phone into the hole with him. And when he was back there, he sent his girl a text. And I guess they had been arguing or whatever. And he was just apologizing in the text or whatnot. He had reached out to other people. And then he took a sheet while he was back there in the hole, tied it around his neck, and decided he didn't want to be here anymore. I had lost people up until this point, but I had somebody to be mad at because of it. There was somebody that took them out of it, out of here, out of life, out of existence, just whatever. Violence was occurring, and I lost some people. But this time was different. Who could I be angry at? I didn't understand. I didn't know what he felt. I remember people saying, why would he do that? It doesn't make sense. And it didn't make sense. He was not a prime candidate. And if you've never been to prison, just know that this isn't a prison story. This lesson I learned right here, I just want to share, is to check on your strongest friends, the ones that have been through the most potentially, and you may not know about it. How you can identify them is usually they're the ones that are motivating, supporting, encouraging, and, trying to keep people up, laughing. They're usually the people that don't want you to feel the pain or what they're feeling inside of them. Usually. Check on them. We to this day don't have answers. It just doesn't make sense. There's two types of people, again, in prison. That there's ones that are fighting and those that have given up. And he was, from all what we could see, somebody that was fighting for his freedom. But evidently he couldn't get home soon enough and the pressure built up and he decided he couldn't take it.